Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we will present our presentation, the subject safety and health for engineers. We from 1DEK session 2, and our group members is Ahmad Zahri bin Roslan, Muhammad Saif Hafizul Hadi bin Haidi, Arif Najmi bin Akla, and me Amirul Haziq bin Zamzam. And we conducted by Sir Muhammad Saifuzam bin Jamri. Okay, this is the table of the content. First of all, we have introduction. After that, hazard identification and aspect related hierarchy table. Number three, we have risk assessment. Number four, suggestion to control the risk. And number five, the last one is conclusion. Okay, first of all, the introduction is, as employees, we will not run away from the danger in any job. We will always be in risk, but not every employee will be aware of the dangers that may cause issues in people's life. Danger can occur both inside and outside the office, and if we are not attentive and vigilant, we may find ourselves in danger for an extended amount of time. As a result, the company must take necessary steps such as doing a hazard analysis on workplace seating. This course will explain how appropriate seating contribute to the safety and health of individuals at work.
Okay, second about 2.0, 2.0 hazard identification and OSAT relate hierarchy table. Okay, first I will tell you about hazard fire and chemical burn. First, chemical burn occurs when our skin or eyes come into contact with reagent such as acid or base. Chemical burn are also known as caustic burn or able to burn. They may cause a relation and your skin or between our body. Chemical burn have different symptoms depending on how they happening. Fire is a chemical reaction in which energy in the form of heat is produced. The chemical reaction is known as combustion. Combustion occurs when fuel or other material react rapidly with oxygen, giving off light, heat, and flame. A flame is produced during the ignition point in the combustion reaction and is the visible. Flame consists primarily of carbon dioxide, water vapor, oxygen, and nitrogen. Okay, second, I will talk about hazardous chemical. These hazard chemical, toxic chemical are substances that can cause poisoning, respiratory issue, skin rash, allergic reaction, dermatitis, cancer, and other health problems if they are exposed. First, skin abrasion of chemical, the movement of a substance from the skin outer surface into the skin and into the body is known as dermal absorption. Many common industrial chemicals have the function to cause systemic toxicity if they pass through the skin. Contact dermatitis, often known as eczema, is a skin inflammation caused by contact with a potentially harmful substance. Okay, common symptoms of dementia include itching, pain, redness, swelling, dry, flaking, scaly skin that may develop scratch. Okay. Dangerous items include a wide range of hazardous chemicals. If not handled properly, they can result in flame, explosion, corrosion, and hazard reaction. Hazardous compounds include the following drugs, paints, cosmetic, cleaning chemical, decreases detection. And then I will tell you, and the third one I will tell you about hazard falling object. Okay, the most common injury worker suffer from falling object, bruises, fractures, strain, and sprains. The object that commonly fall range from large items such as roofs, straws, and steel beams to small items such as fastener and small hand tools. What cause falling object to fall? The force of gravity cause object to fall toward the center of Earth. The acceleration of free falling object is therefore called the acceleration due to gravity. Even worker who reach falling object safety training are susceptible to risk. For instance, area lift operator who perform scaffolding work can inadvertently drop tools or other objects. There is not telling when object will fall. Fortunately, if area lift operator can take measures to protect against falling object. Okay, next about hierarchy table. The goal of hierarchy implementation is to identify all factors that put worker at risk of an accident. Consider the possibility of hazard that could occur under any circumstance and to enable workers to plan, implement and monitor preventive measures against occupational injury risk. The function of hazard table used to be throughout the company to ensure the safety of their employee and avoid any accident that cause demand to people. This is the table company must be complete, like in slide. Okay, next about risk assessment.
So my name is Muhammad Hafizul Hadi bin Haidi. Okay, I want to present about risk assessment. First, the fire. So three things are required in proper combination before ignition and combustion can take place. That heat, oxygen, and fuel. So first, there must be fuel to burn. Second, there must be air to supply oxygen. Third, there must be heat, ignition temperature to start and continue the combustion process. So the situations that often occur fires in the workplace are cigarettes, sockets, devices that use high voltage such as air conditioners. So the fire safety order first place emphasis on preventing fires and reducing risk. Second, make it the responsibility of each business to ensure the safety of everyone who use the premise and are in the immediate vicinity of the premise. So third, does away with the need for fire certificates. So under the fire safety order, business owners have a statutory duty to name a responsible person who will oversee arrangements in the premise and ensure that regular fire risk assessment are held with focus on the safety of all people using the premise, especially the disabled for infirm. So second, hazardous chemicals. So the figure one is a intercellular lipid pathway. So cause a neocyte the cells that make up the stratum corneum. Lipids are some substances such as fats, oils, or wax that occupy the gaps between the corneocytes. So diffusion allows some molecules to pass through these lipid filled intercellular gaps. So the second one is a transcellular permeation. So transcellular or cell-to-cell permeation in which molecules pass directly through the corneocytes is another route for substance to be absorbed into and through the skin. So third is a through figure 3 is a through the appendage hair follicles or gland. So skin appendage the third channel for chemical diffusion into and through the skin because the surface area of the appendage is so little in comparison to the total skin area. So this pathway is usually unimportant during the early stage of absorption. However, very slowly permitting substance may use this channel. So the third is a falling object. Okay. First, a worker walking near the edge of a loading dock falls to the lower level. So second, a worker falls while climbing a defective ladder. Third, a worker not use hard hats. And the last, a worker not use the safety nets. So that's all. We move to suggestion to control the risk.
Okay, my name is Ahmad Zahran Miroslan, and I want to talk about suggestion to control risk. Okay, first of all, a fire safety risk assessment should include first, fire prevention, two, fire detection and warning, three, emergency escape and firefighting. Fi- Fire will being in non-home ground premise in England and Wales is covered by the Regulatory Reform Fire Safety Order Pro 2005. Under the Fire Safety Order, entrepreneurs have a legal obligation to complete a fire hazard evaluation of the environment. Fire precaution cover many aspects of fire safety, including appropriate measures to fight and give warning of fire, and appropriate measures to ensure the safe evacuation of persons through emergency route and exits. And then hazardous chemical. First, assess the dangers. Chemical producers and importers must assess the danger of the chemical they produce or import. And number two, labels. All firms who have hazardous chemical in their workplace must provide label and safety data sheet to expose employee. And number three, use PPE. We need to always use required PPE and inspect it carefully before each use to make sure it's safe to use. And number four, never eat and drink while handling. Never eat and drink while handling any chemical substance. If your hands are contaminated, don't use cosmetic or handle contact lens. Number 5, emergency procedure and equipment. We need to learn about emergency procedures and equipment. And number 3, falling object. First, we need to follow OSHA safety standards and get trained. And number 2, we need to ensure there are no loose objects on the aerial work surface. And last, organize your bucket. Okay, that's all from me.
So the conclusion is safety is closely linked to health as well as accident or dangers. Employee health and well-being is an important aspect of employee job satisfaction. Every act in workshop or laboratory or factory and the like will represent others who could potentially be have from injury or death due to fire or accident. The number two, occupational safety and health cannot be dismissed as service delivery issues. Multi-stakeholder initiative that include global uh, principles and national policy at advocacy can facilitate or enhance risk reduction measure. The PPE campaign represent an important approach to ensuring and well-being of the health sector's most important resource. So that's all from our group. Thank you so much.